Assalamu alaikum. Once again with your friend Sayyid Kashif Mahmood. In this lecture, I am going to discuss some basics about the microscope. Like what is the root meaning of the microscope, how we can define the microscope, why we are using the microscope. And in this question we will discuss the basic properties like magnification and resolution. And at the last of the video we will also discuss the lenses of the microscope. So let's start the video. First of all, let's know the root meaning of the microscope. Basically, the word microscope is a Greek word, and this word is the combination of two basic words. One is micros and the second one is scopian. Micros mean very small and scopian mean to see, to look or to observe. So from this root meaning we can define microscope very easily. How? So we can define the microscope like that it is an instrument. The microscope is an instrument which is used to see very small objects. So microscope is an instrument which is used to see very small objects. Now let's discuss this term small objects. What does it mean? Small objects are those objects which we cannot see with our eyes without the microscope. It means we need microscope for those objects to be observed. After having discussion on the root meaning and the definition of the microscope, now let's discuss this, that why we are using the microscope. So there are two basic properties. One is magnification and the second one is resolution. This magnification and resolution will give you answer to us about that why we are using the microscope. Let's suppose this is an object which we see with our naked eyes. If we take this object to the microscope, so it will look like this. What happened here? Basically this object become larger. Now don't think that if we put something in a microscope to be observed and that object becoming larger. Not the object, but the image of the object becoming larger. This property of the microscope is known as magnification, that it magnifying the image of an object. After this property, that is magnification, now let's discuss the resolution. Resolution is the opposite of blur. So now it is clear that resolution will be the property of a microscope through which we can see object clear. Let's suppose these are two objects. If there is blur, so we cannot distinguish between these two objects. We will think that these are not two but one object. But this property of the microscope distinguishing between these two objects. If we are having this image, so because of this resolution, which is the property of microscope, these two objects will look clear and distinguish from each other. So after having discussion on these two properties, one is magnification and resolution, it is clear to us that why we are using the microscope. The first one is that because of microscope we can see object larger, and the second one is that because of the microscope we can see the object more clear. There are many other things to discuss in magnification and resolution, but we will discuss those things after having discussion on the lenses of the microscope. So microscope having three lenses. The first one is ocular lens, or we can also call it eyepiece. The second one is objective lens, and the third one is condenser lens, or we can simply say condenser. Let's discuss these three lenses individually and also discuss their rules in the microscope. Let's suppose this is illuminator or source of light, that can be electricity or sun. So from here the light comes to the condenser. As I have already said that condenser is lens in a microscope. So when the light comes to the condenser, let's name it condenser. Now what is the function of this condenser? Actually, when the light coming from the source, so the light be in diffractive form. So this condenser condensing the light. Let's suppose this is a source, so light will go like this. So after passing from this condenser, it will be in a condensed form. So this is the function of this condenser. So when the light coming from the illuminator to the condenser, so after passing the condenser, the light be in a condensed form, and after when it passing from the condenser, so here is the stage. Here is the stage of the microscope. Basically this condenser be under the stage of the microscope, and here we placing the object or specimen. Here is the object, or we can also call it specimen. Now this is the object, and here we are having lenses, and these lenses are known as objective lenses. These lenses are known as objective lenses. Now what is the rule of this objective lens? Basically this objective lens focusing on the object, and after this we are having other lenses, and these lenses are known as ocular lens. Ocular lenses, or we can also term as eyepiece. Now what is the rule of this? Actually our eyes be here, and we see the object through the ocular lenses. If there is only one ocular lens, we will call that as monocular, and if the ocular lenses are two, then we will call it binocular. So on the basis of one lens and two lens, we are having these two names, monocular and binocular. After having discussion on the lenses of the microscope, now let's discuss something very special about the magnification and resolution. How we can determine the magnification power of the microscope. So let's suppose this ocular lens having 10x power of magnification, and this objective, let's suppose take this, it having power of 100x. Basically this x is the abbreviation of the magnification. What does this 10x mean? This 10x mean that we can see the object in the microscope 10 times more larger than that of naked eyes. 100x means that we can see object 100 times more larger than that of the naked eyes. So how we can determine this magnification power? So here we have to multiply this power with this, and that result will be the magnification power of the microscope. Let's suppose the ocular lens having 10x power and the objective lens having 100x power. So to determine the magnification of the microscope, we have to multiply these two with each other, and we will get 1000x magnification power. So what does it mean? That if the microscope having 1000x magnification power, that means that we can see the object 1000 times more bigger in that microscope than that of the naked eyes. I hope this is clear to you. Now let's discuss something about the resolution. This resolution basically depends on three things. I will shortly name that, and this is on the basis of Abbe equation. So this resolution depends upon the wavelength. The resolution is inversely proportional to the wavelength. What does that mean? If the light having larger wavelength, so the resolution will be very less. This resolution also depends on the angle, but the relationship between the resolution and the angle is directly proportional. If the angle is more, the resolution will be more, which means the image will be very clear. And with that, it also depends upon the refractive index. If the refractive index is more, the resolution will be more and the image will be more clear. So resolution having inverse relationship with the wavelength, direct relationship with the angle, as well as the refractive index. So we have discussed the root meaning of the microscope, the definition of the microscope, why we are using the microscope, and in that we have discussed the magnification and resolution, and after that we have also discussed the lenses of the microscope, like the condenser, like the objective lenses and the ocular lenses. And with that we have also discussed how to determine the power of the magnification of microscope, and we have also discussed that resolution depends upon these three things: wavelength, angle and the refractive index. So I hope it will be clear to you, and meet you in next video. Assalamu alaikum.